So Danica, you shared that you're interested in exploring your body image, and that's really the focus of what you were wanting to talk about today. And I just really appreciate your vulnerability and your willingness to go there. It's not an easy topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you already thought of in terms of ways that you could change your body image or change the way you think about your body?
I've thought of just deleting or limiting my time on social media, like apps like Instagram or Snapchat, just because I notice myself comparing my body to others.
Yeah, that's a great first step, like thinking about what you see when you scroll and how to kind of change that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good plan. Anything else?
No, that's all I could really think of.
Okay, yeah. If it's okay, I'd love to share a few more directions we could take. And then after you hear that list, we can certainly do a deep dive in the social media change if you want to focus on that. Or if something else that I share pops up as more of a priority, we could go in that direction. Is that cool?
Yeah, I'd love to hear them.
Okay, great. So one change that some clients make to improve their body image is just like increasing their engagement in physical activity, not for the purposes of trying to change your body, but researchers have found that the folks who engage in movement have improved body image, just the act of moving your body. So we could talk more about that. Another area we could explore is the people in your life and like talk more about your relationships and see if maybe you need to set boundaries with folks or think critically about who you hang out with and how they impact your body image. So we could talk about sort of your social networks. Another area that's been helpful for some clients is thinking about stress management because we know that when you're stressed, the negative body messages get louder. So we could explore ways to like manage your stress. And then finally, we could also just kind of think about what are the messages you hear in your mind, that inner critic, and then how could you set up little reminders or sticky notes around the house to change the messaging to like catch those negative thoughts and think of things that are more positive in that space. So I know I covered a lot, but out of all those areas, what jumps out at you?
I would say the inner critic, I just definitely see myself beating myself up in my inner dialogue and just being negative. So reframing that might help with my body image.
Yeah, that's great that you notice those negative thoughts and you see the power in sort of changing the way your brain travels when those thoughts come up.
Yeah.
And really what you're speaking about there is self-compassion, like noticing that you're hard on yourself, noticing that you want to be nicer to yourself.
Yeah, I definitely want to be nicer to myself.
Yeah. So there's lots of ways that you can sort of set up your environment so you have the thought of like, okay, what am I saying to myself? How do I change what I'm saying to myself? I mentioned sticky notes. Anything come to mind that you think would be helpful in terms of changing up your environment so you think of those things?
I'd like to think I could just be conscious about it, but I don't think that's realistic. So I do like the sticky notes idea.
Okay, so having that visual cue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something to kind of remind me when I'm not consciously thinking about how I'm going down the negative route.
Yeah, great. And that could really just be the little cue that you need to catch yourself.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, great. So I know I threw that term in, self-compassion. What do you already know about that term? Is it one you've heard?
Briefly, yeah. I know just kind of caring for yourself and being compassionate towards yourself, but I would say it definitely doesn't come easy.
Right? It is a struggle for all of us, and we are our own worst critics.
Yeah,
we are really hard on ourselves. And if it's okay, I just wanted to share one other piece that I think might be helpful as we figure out what's on those sticky notes.
Yeah.
Sometimes folks think about self-compassion of like, what would you say to a friend who was saying that to themselves? So the thing that you say in your mind, if you heard a good friend say that to themselves, what would you say to them? And that might be sort of what you put on those sticky notes. What are your thoughts on that?
I really like that because it kind of gets me to step back and see the situation from a different perspective and realize that I am being hard on myself.
Yeah, we're like nicer to other people than we are to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, let's have a little brainstorm and actually have you write down some sayings that could go on these sticky notes that might be more compassionate than what you're telling yourself now.
Okay.